Yo, what's up, people? This is the Solar Kid. Welcome back to the Other Side of the Sun podcast. Today, I'm hooking up with the old school bra of mine who is out in Vancouver, Canada, introducing Allistair.
Yeah,
Ali, how are
BC.
you doing?
Hey, brother. I'm good, man. It's been a while. I must say, it's
Yeah,
definitely
like you
been
said,
a
what,
long
20
time since
years,
we had
bro?
a chat. So, at least, man. At least. So,
Are you sure?
lots has happened in that time. That's for sure.
So I haven't seen you like when we finished school, and no, I did see you after school because you were still around for a bit.
Yeah, I was around for a bit. I went to Wits Tech, the good old
Yeah.
days before it was UJ,
Mm.
and I finished my IT diploma, and then I think once I was done with that, I was pretty much out of there, man. Started traveling and,
Yeah, that's what I
you
remember.
know,
You were just on the ships, like just traveling the world. Like fucking whenever I heard you were somewhere else.
yeah, man. I done the ships for about 5 years and worked my way up there and just had a blast, man.
I
Just
can
traveled
imagine, man.
many different places and met some cool people. Obviously, I met my now wife on the ships.
Oh, did you?
I
Okay.
did, yeah. And she was not a passenger; she was also a crew member.
I
Because
thought
most
you were
people are like,
fraternizing
was
with
she a
the
passenger? And I'm like, no, 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 no.
fraternizing with the passengers, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, no. So she was crew as well, and I met her, and yeah, we done a couple contracts together on the ships, and then yeah, man, she was the one, and
It was like,
decided
come to Canada.
to move to Canada. I was like, where do you want to stay? We were like, okay, it's gonna be South Africa or is it gonna be Canada? So um, I was like, you know what, this is a no-brainer for me, man. As much as I love South Africa, yeah, I had to make the step out of there.
Yeah, of
So,
course, especially if you're gonna be raising kids and stuff. Not to say anything that it's hard, but
yeah, man.
if you're from South Africa, hopefully you understand where we're coming from. We don't mean that it's bad or
No
anything.
ill will, no ill. All
Yeah,
my family's still there, friends, and bringing up their families and stuff. So I mean, if I didn't meet Stacy, my wife, I would probably still be living there and bringing up family and stuff, right? So,
Mm.
but yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbled, and pretty much moved out to Canada, Vancouver, and yeah, just got into it. Yeah, started find work. Obviously I had got a couple kids, two boys,
Hey,
which I think you do too, right? You have two boys, or is
I've
it
got
boy
two
and a
boys
girl?
and an older girl. Yeah,
Two boys and an older girl. Wow, congrats, man.
yeah.
So yeah, so they definitely are keeping me very very busy,
I can
and
imagine. Actually, I know, I
dude,
know, I know. I don't even have to imagine.
man. These they, oh, I tell
And
you,
my
they
daughter
they
is
definitely
cool. Like
keep.
she's fine. Girls are cool, bro. But the two boys, like, oh my god, man, boys are something else.
I wouldn't know, man. I just have two boys, so I just know they
You
constantly
only
like
know.
jumping on top of each other and on top of me and my wife, and I'm just like, where does all this energy come from?
It never
But
stops.
I guess it is what it is, right?
Yeah,
It
no,
never
it never
stops,
stops.
man. It never stops. So
So then,
yeah, and then I mean,
how long have you been there?
yeah, go ahead.
How long have you been in? Like, when did you actually move there? Like, and get married and stuff? It was like 10 years.
So my wife and I got married in 2008, and then we've done another couple of contracts on the ships. So I've probably been here since about 2009. I actually moved to Canada and then started working, and just you have to go through the long process of becoming a citizen. So I finally became a citizen a couple of years ago. And yeah, once I became a citizen, life became a lot more easier, obviously, because like this is now your home, and I wanted to become a citizen because my kids are obviously Canadian.
Yeah.
So I just I decided to make the leap. So now I'm a citizen of Canada, and yeah, just raising the kids and stuff here. I've been back to South Africa one time, believe
Only
it or not,
once.
in 2000.
Oh wow.
Only once. It's just so far, and it costs a lot of money,
Yeah.
and
Got two kids. Same here,
it's
bro.
two kids, and it's just like before you know it, it's like boom, right?
Mm.
So
It's hiring a
yeah,
car. It's a car
man,
seat. It's all that stuff.
Exactly. At least you have accommodation, like you have a place to stay because we've got some family and stuff there. But yeah, man, it adds up. It adds up pretty fast, right? And the main thing is just having the two small kids and sitting on two flights because going to South Africa from Vancouver, we normally go via Hong Kong and then from Hong Kong to Johannesburg.
What? So you go
So
the other way around the world?
we go the other way, dude. We go the other way. Normally I used to go via
Miami?
via not Miami, by
Atlanta?
Heathrow, so via London,
Okay.
and then down to SA. But yeah, that for some reason that route is just it's harder, man. I think it's because of the time difference. Whereas when I fly to Hong Kong, it's like you fly like into a different time zone and then down to South Africa, which is just a bit easier on the body.
Yeah.
And plus, I love Hong Kong airport. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's normally how we do our thing. And yeah, man, I got nothing but good things to say about Canada, man. It's awesome. I know you in the UK now, right?
London, yeah.
So are you based there as well? Are you a
Yeah,
citizen?
I've been here since 2005.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so literally.
Wow. Yeah, time is definitely fast, man.
Yeah, I know, I know.
But yeah, man. So it's crazy. I just I constantly just look back and just think about wow. I mean, obviously we were at parties together, Florida Park High School. So shout out to all the
Shout out
people
to
from
Florida Park.
parties.
Yeah, it's funny
man,
you say
that
that.
was awesome. We had a what's that?
No, I'm just saying it's funny you mentioned that because I had Jason on a couple of podcasts ago.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
it's not out yet, but I had him on. And we were just talking about you guys whenever because I used to be like on my own mission and then come check you guys chilling at the toilets, you and Obiza and Jay.
Yeah.
Come chill with you guys for a bit.
Oh,
do my round.
our spot. That's funny, man. Oh, that's funny.
So that's always you, Brad.
Yeah, man. Obviously, good memories. Got lots of good memories from from parties and just in general, just growing up. We used to obviously frequent the same places and parties. 115, reality, top packs, all that good stuff.
The very niche places before they were like
very niche, man. Very niche, and very cool. Like I had a blast growing up. Obviously, checking out all these places and stuff. So it was a good time, man.
That's what I mean. Those places were like, especially like 115. They were like of the first places where you could hear good music. They were multicultural. I mean, there was all types of people in there. Like literally, it was ahead of its time, man. Literally, bro.
Man, I just used to love the deep bass drop-in tracks that they used to play. Like it's up until now. Like if if I have some time or whatever and I just want to relax, I'll put my earphones on and I'll just go into like some seriously deep house music, just or hip hop or whatever. And those are all near and dear to my heart. Anything music really is near and dear to my heart. So yeah, just listen to some tunes and just reminisce and enjoy it.
Yeah, no.
Very very soothing and relaxing. So it's been good.
I won't lie, for me, like there was a stage where like I was so sick of house music because that's all you used to hear in Joburg. And then when I came to London, like I was off it for about like a good 2, 3, 4 years. I just couldn't listen to it. But then the more you miss home, the more you like.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I even make house music again and stuff. Like I even actually produce it as well, you know what I mean? And, stuff. And I mean, I used to DJ. I don't know if you remember when me and Kurtie used to do our
you and
night and stuff.
When else have you been back?
Probably, I'd say 3 years ago because my daughter was there, my son was there. And when we had the third, it was like, now it's a bit.
You're gonna have to put that on, for like once, maybe every 5 years or whatever.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like it's very expensive, obviously. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You can say the exchange rate and yes, pounds and whatever, but still, like you know what I mean. When you come to South Africa, it's like
It's mostly the plane tickets that just kill you, man. Like when you look at those prices and then it's just like, oh my goodness. So
No, but for you,
yeah,
it must be heavy. That's like because I mean, from us to South Africa from London, it's like we're more or less on the same timeline. So you don't lose any sleep or anything. And it's an overnight flight. You leave in the evening and you land in the morning, unless you go via Dubai or whatever. So now for you, still coming from there to here, that's 8 hours, 9 hours or something.
it's horrible, man.
Yeah.
I remember when I was on the ships, obviously I used to do that trip a lot because I used to do 6-month contracts. So I'd normally get off a ship like somewhere in like either in like in the States somewhere, and then have to fly back to South Africa, and it was grueling, man. It's long, and it's cramped. I'm not exactly a small guy, I'm like 6'5", and I'm like
Economy.
into these like small little seats.
Economy class.
11-hour flights back to back, right? So you just like, it's brutal, man. But yeah, you just get through it. When you're young and you got no issues, all good, man. You're just too happy to go home.
So where haven't you been, bro? You must have traveled pretty much all over the world then.
Definitely traveled to some awesome places. I mean, obviously there's places I haven't been to, but what I would say is my favorite place that I went to was in Tahiti, in Bora Bora. And my wife and I done that trip, and it was, man, it's so beautiful. It's the most beautiful part of the world I've ever seen. Just like you can walk out for like miles into the water, and it's blue. You can literally see the fish like just swimming, in between your legs and stuff. It's like, wow, this place is awesome. Wow. So hopefully one day we'll get to go and visit it again. And
have you been to the east much, or?
Yeah, we done a few different places. Actually, that trip that we were on a 62-day trip. It basically started in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So done all of Japan, done some China, Hong Kong, Australia, all the French Polynesia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, just been around. Obviously, the Caribbean, all of the west coast of California up to Canada, Alaska. All the hot spots where the cruise ships go. We've done the Mediterranean, Greece, all those places. Man, it's just seen some beautiful places, and yeah, just loved it, man. So yeah, I think that's probably why I wanted to settle down here in Canada. There's just so much to see and do here in Canada, and I've only been in Vancouver. I haven't even traveled in like to Toronto or Quebec or any of these other beautiful places.
Yeah, I mean it's massive.
Massive, man.
I've got a friend who lives there in Vancouver, who's from UK originally,
Nice.
You went to Boston Primary with me as well. Like, I don't know if you've ever, because he didn't go to high school here. He had already moved to the States to Canada by that time. But his name is Ronville Swartz.
Okay. The last name sounds familiar, Swartz.
Yeah, well, it's quite popular.
It's one of those things where it's like, you see the picture, like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Exactly that.
We used to play soccer at Basmont or whatever, So I'm sure if I see, but I'll recognize.
Yeah, I must say, because I'm pretty sure he's in Vancouver, because he's always sending, like, he loves to do outdoor stuff. So he's always sending pictures of these amazing lakes and forests and out there where you guys.
I just recently got into doing like kayaking and paddle boarding, and yeah, man, like BC is renowned for just the most beautiful outdoor areas where you want to go and do rafting, camping. It's huge, like hunting, like a lot of big hunters out there. Just a lot of hiking, all that kind of thing. It's gorgeous, man. It's really good. So yeah, we try and get out as much as we can, and actually where I live is it's like in the suburbs, so we stay it's like on a mountain as well, and it's beautiful, man. We got bears all around us. It's crazy. Like I literally, when I go to my car, I have to make sure and check around, make sure there's no bears that's gonna jump out. And
really,
yeah, they're like everywhere, dude. It's crazy.
Mountain bears and shit.
Yeah, we seem to live together. We coexist, and we make the best.
I need to add that to my holiday destination list.
Please, man. Yeah, you gotta check it out. I've obviously been to the UK. That was one of my first trips, and man, you can't go wrong in London either, man. It's just so much going on there, and it's.
That's the thing, yeah. When you're young, and like London is probably one of the sickest places to be. So we live just on like Still in London, but literally just on the edge. So like we kind of closer to the, like we've got like a nice park here, Lee Valley Nature Reserve.
Yeah.
And guess what river it sits on?
Which one?
The River Lee.
Relax.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
funny.
I
That's
live in
funny.
Rovax.
You live in Relax.
But yeah, literally on the River Lee, it runs all the
Yeah.
way down to
That's
London.
so funny, man. Like only certain people would obviously catch that joke.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Sorry for all my other viewers.
You
River
know,
Lee,
man.
yeah.
That's so funny, man. So
Right.
but yeah, dude. I mean, obviously, life has been good, but it took a turn for me, as I'm sure you know. It took a turn for me. Whew, 2019, December 3rd, 2019. I was
That was
diagnosed.
last year in December.
It was last year, December, brother. I was diagnosed with stage 4 collateral cancer or colon cancer. So this is the part where the interview obviously takes
But,
a bit of a twist. So I have been battling cancer for pretty much coming up to a year. I'm still speechless, man. Every time I think about it, I'm still a young dude. We're probably the same age. We're on 40 years old.
yeah, well, I'm gonna be 40 like next in Feb.
Yeah, so I'll be 40 in November of this year.
Yeah.
So we both, around the same age, and obviously at that age, you don't expect to get a diagnosis like that. And then
What led to the diagnosis? Like, was it just a routine checkup, or were you feeling ill, or?
it's a weird one, and this is probably the part and the information that I want to get out there to you, to your following, and whoever people. I had no symptoms like that I can really say, oh yeah, this and that and this and that. Like I was a healthy guy. I worked out. I ate pretty healthy for the most part. Obviously I've got my I like my sugar, and I like my I do like my food. So I wasn't too concerned about that kind of thing, but healthy enough. And then one day I did have I had it felt like heartburn. I thought, what's going on here? And that was probably in October last year. I was like, okay, maybe I'll ease up on the coffee, ease up on some of the sweets and stuff, and just see if it goes away. And it didn't really go away after, I'd probably say 3 weeks or so. I was
You
taking
just had like a heartburn like feeling, or like...
yeah, just like a heartburn feeling, but that's about it. And then it started getting more intense, like when I started sleeping on my side or on my front. Like it almost felt like a pain in my gallbladder or something. I thought maybe it's a kidney stone, or I wasn't sure, but I knew something was going on in there. So, but us guys, we put it off, and I just say, you know what? I'll give it another week. I'll start drinking like beer, and maybe that will work, because you just try and start thinking about what you can do. So stop that for a while as well, probably at least 3 weeks. But the pain was still kind of there, but not severe, just like very light, So I was like, okay, well, it's probably time. I gotta go check out my doctor. And I called my doctor, and he was on vacation, believe it or not. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll maybe just wait till he gets back, which was gonna be in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh shit.
But I was like, you know what? That pain was getting a bit more intense. So I called another guy that was recommended by one of my family members, and he's another doctor. Went to go see him. We done a full blood work panel, and he said, it's probably nothing to worry about, but let's get the blood work done, and we'll go from there. So went in, got the blood work done. Got the call back to say, you gotta come see me. We gotta chat here. So went in, sat down, had a conversation with my doctor, and we basically thought it might be a case of maybe colitis, maybe IBS, irritable bowel syndrome,
Mm.
something along those lines, because what was happening with my blood was my inflammation was sky high. Like there was so much inflammation in my blood, and that's what worried him. He was like, "Whoa, why this is high? Like this is not good." So we're probably gonna have to go do a colonoscopy, and if it is IBS or colitis, which is still pretty intense, disease to have, but not obviously as bad as cancer. Um, I was thinking, okay, fine, we'll check it out. We'll go do the colonoscopy, and then we'll decide which treatment plan to follow, and might just have to adjust my diet a little bit, all that kind of thing, and then we'll be good to go. So went for my colonoscopy. About 10 minutes into the colonoscopy, doctor stopped, said he couldn't complete the colonoscopy because he found a tumor in my colon. And he said it had been there for probably about maybe 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. It had
What?
been in there. Yeah, man. And
And you didn't even have any idea of this thing.
nothing. I don't even have cancer like my mom, dad, grandparents, nobody. It's not even in my family. Like where I can say, oh yeah, like I've got an aunt who had breast cancer, and that was about it. That was like close family. Obviously there's some other second cousins and all that kind of thing, but in terms of close family, just my auntie was the closest one I could remember in my time, at least, that had cancer and beat it. So this was like a shock to me, man. I was like, what? Just complete shock, and you don't know like what to do at that time, but you just kind of make the news. And I was just basically told, like, what is that's a tumor. And the doctor that I was seeing basically said that he's been doing this a long time. He doesn't want to freak me out, but he knows that's cancer for sure, because I guess some people have tumors but they're benign or whatever. But he said he just looked at it, and just based on the size alone, he was like, that's not good. So I basically got the news, and that's when life changed, man. You just try and process everything at first, and I'm still processing it, man. I'm
sure it's not something you can actually just
process. I'm still processing it, but yeah, I just you basically get the diagnosis. I took it on the chin, as they say. And, like let's say I done the colonoscopy on the Monday. By the Friday, I was already seeing a surgeon to say, like, what's my options? So with cancer, before cancer, I obviously never knew much about it. You hear about family or friends or whatever that, that have had it, but you don't really know what it really is about until you actually exposed to it, either as a patient or as a caregiver. And yeah, man, it's a whole new world, buddy. That's all I can say. Like it's surgeries, it's chemotherapy, it's integrative approaches as to how you think you might be able to fight the cancer, all that kind of thing. So for me, for my cancer, I had what they call stage 4 cancer. And to give you a bit of a breakdown, and your audience, you can have cancer stage 1, 2, 3, or 4. Anything below stage 4 is I would say anything stage 3 and below is and it's severe. But stage 4 is what they would say the most drastic kind of cancer you can have, because it's metastatic, it's metastasized, it's moved to other parts of your body. So I had a primary tumor in my colon, and what made mine stage 4 was I guess you have a organ that covers your abdomen. It's called an omentum, and I didn't even know what that was when I heard about it the first time. So if you don't know what it is, I got it, man. But I have these like little, it's basically like the cancer is in little nodules, like all across my belly. And that's what makes it metastatic, is because it's in different parts of my body.
Yeah. So it's
And
a
why
really
that makes
good.
it difficult is like surgeons can normally operate on cancer if they feel that they can get it and they can, actually have a positive outcome. But with a stage 4 cancer, they're very, very picky about doing those kinds of cancers, depending on where your cancer is. Because once they open you up and kind of go in there and, try and get the cancer out of your body, if they can't get everything, it could actually make things worse, So,
Yeah.
so normally if they they look at all your scans and they'll see if you qualify for a certain type of surgery, and if you do, great. But if you don't, then they'll just say to you, no, you are basically inoperable, and you have to start a treatment plan. And your treatment plan is obviously chemotherapy. So there's all these different kinds of chemotherapy drugs that they treat for different cancers. And if you're lucky and you get some shrinkage with the cancer, meaning that the chemotherapy is actually working in your body. If you get some shrinkage, you might qualify for a surgery at a later date.
Okay.
So I'm in that process right now where I'm on a chemo. I've been on chemo since my first chemo was December 24th, 2019, literally the day before Christmas. So that was my first chemo, and yeah, man, it's a rough road with the chemo because you have basically, I don't want to get into too much of the details because it's like a literally it's going down a worm or a rabbit hole, as they say. But yeah, it's my chemo that I do is I do it once every 2 weeks. And I started with a chemo called Full Fox, which is some nasty stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like
No.
I don't know how much you know about chemo or what you know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm close to a few people who have cancer and I've
Yeah,
been vaccinated, so I know a little bit about
you
stuff.
know a little bit about, and
Yeah.
maybe see what it does to people, right? Like it's it kills everything, man. It goes for everything in your body, right? So it kills the cancer cells, but it kills a lot of the good stuff in your body as well. So you really got to keep your body as, I guess, what's the best word? You got to try and be as healthy as possible, even though that sounds weird.
Yeah.
But you got to eat. You got to keep your weight up.
Try
You
and
got to
balance it out.
balance it, right? You got to be eating, the right stuff to keep your energy up. Obviously during chemo week, it's a rough road because you have zero energy.
Just
Like
feel
all I
ill.
literally want to do when it's chemo week is I just want to lay on the couch and put a blanket over my head, and I don't want to be bothered. You know what I mean? But obviously with 2 little kids and a wife and a household, and life is going on, man. It
Life
ain't
still goes
stopping,
on.
right? So you kind of just have to push yourself where you can. And fortunately for me, I've got an awesome wife and family that's very supportive, and it's, man, it's
And
just a crazy road.
tell me, like, so I mean, over here, like a lot of people have been missing treatments and stuff because of COVID. And how's that affected you? Like, has it changed much, or were you still able to get treatment and stuff? Or?
So thankfully, in BC, in Canada, they've done a fantastic job with managing the COVID-19 crisis. So by fantastic, I mean we didn't have a crazy amount of numbers like our neighbors, down in the US. So I thought they done a pretty good job. Obviously not everyone can be happy, but they were able to. I was able to still get my treatment. So I was able to still get my chemotherapy. Obviously, suiting up and going in because you have to go into the hospital to do it. And as a cancer patient, you watching all this on TV where it's like if you're immunocompromised, you gotta
If you
like
have any type
suit
of
up, you gotta stay indoors, you can't do this, you can't do that. So I'm obviously freaking out a bit because I'm walking basically into a hospital that's got the
you're high
outbreak.
risk.
You know what I mean? This is where all the sick people are. So it's like, am I gonna do this? Am I not doing this? Should I stay home? Like you're having to face all these like crazy decisions, like even just going to the store, and to go buy something, like it's not just as easy as, you know, jumping in the car, going in, and, you know, it's all good. As you well know, like with COVID, you have to have your mask on now, you have to sanitize everything. It's a nightmare, right? So yeah, obviously going into the hospitals and stuff, I was quite concerned, you know, about what's going to happen. But fortunately, so far, they haven't stopped it. I haven't gotten COVID. We've been keeping our bubble really small. So
Yeah,
it's
no, that
maybe
makes
like
sense.
just like my wife, my kids, maybe like their grandparents, because my mom and dad are still in South Africa, so they're not in Canada with us. You know, and a few additional family members like brother-in-law and, you know, and stuff. So we keep our bubble really, really small, and you know, we've actually pulled our kids pretty much out of school. So I homeschool my youngest kid now.
Yeah, that
Uh,
makes sense.
not I do it, but my wife homeschools him. And then my oldest, who's 8 years old, he's still connected to like his school class and stuff, but he does everything online.
Yeah.
So we just have to like be really, really conscious about how we, you know, how we do things, because
No, that's good, man. Over here, some people have been missing chemo, people have been not getting treatment. I think only in the last like month or two, things have slowly been, you know, people have been allowed to go to hospital again and stuff like that. Like in the
it's
first
tough,
three,
man.
four, it was like people, you know, even people with like mental health issues or people who have kids with learning disabilities, there was no support. Like there was, well, not
Yeah.
much going on at all. It was all just COVID focused. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I actually I tested positive for it like a month ago and I had it for like a week or something.
How was that?
Um, Everyone says it's just like a cold, and it is slightly, but I've never had a cold like that. Like, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, in the beginning of COVID and that, me and my wife thought we had it as well, which is why she was off work from the beginning before lockdown started. But this was like, I lost my sense of taste and smell, and like I had a few days where I was like just drained of energy and like, you know what I mean, a slight cough and a bit of a fever, but didn't last very long with me, like about a week or so, and then I was over it. I mean, I'm quite healthy as well.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome, man. Glad to hear you got through that okay, because you just don't know, right? Like
yeah,
it's like
the thing is, I mean, I like, yeah, it was just a weird feeling, man. I've never experienced losing my taste and smell ever in my life, so it was weird for me. Like I was making like hot food, I was putting chilies in and stuff like just to test it to see if I, you know what I mean.
yeah,
I had a shot of whiskey, I couldn't taste nothing, bro. Like it was weird, man.
crazy, man.
Honestly,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a nasty thing, man. I just hope, like, you know, it's like you put on the TV and it's like it's so weird because you'll see like one young person, like yourself, who is okay after a week. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you made it through, you're healthy enough, and you're okay. You know, but then you look at the next young person, and they got a ventilator stuck down their throat because they can't
They
begin
can't
breathe.
breathe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And obviously it's, you know, it's led to some fatalities. So I literally sit here even with my stage 4 diagnosis, and I'm grateful, man, like for just being able to have that opportunity to fight, you know, because some people don't get that opportunity. They step outside and they, you know, they're in an accident, or, you know,
yeah.
there's
Well, I
so
mean, I was gonna ask about I'm like, what's the healthcare situation like in Canada? Because obviously in the States now, if you don't have medical insurance and stuff, you're fucked as well, isn't it? Like you, you know what I
to
mean?
put
Like,
it mildly, yes.
yeah.
You know what? If I was anywhere else in the world, I think I would have been screwed.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm thinking, bro. Like honestly, you really, yeah.
Canada is the healthcare system. You know, obviously there's people who love it, there's people who hate it. For me, as a cancer patient, I can go into, you know, the hospital. I can get my chemo, and I don't have to pay a cent for it, which
Wow,
is like insanity. Like if you go into the
wow,
US, you're paying like $2,000 for your chemo treatment for like one treatment. You know what I mean? It's not cheap. So just based on that alone,
wow, dude.
you know, it's amazing. Like people are like mortgaging their houses all over the world because they
Yeah, in
try
the
to get
States
chemo.
especially, like, you know, and stuff like
You
that.
know, it's crazy, man. So from that reason, Canada has been amazing. Basically, all that kind of treatment is taken care of, like chemo, any kinds of, you know, anti-nausea medication, all that kind of
Wow.
thing. It's all covered through our system. So we do obviously have high taxes, and we pay for that. through our MSP coverage and stuff, but it's certainly not, the amount of money that, some other people have to do in the States and all that kind of thing. So based on that, it's awesome. Obviously, there is a lot of, with this cancer, there's a lot of different approaches that people take. So, depending on who you're talking to, some people will either say, I'm not touching chemo, not going to do it. I'm just doing, the natural way, which is...
Oh, yeah, that was leading me to my next question. I was going to ask you, are you into trying any alternative medications, Ayurvedic or cannabis, CBD, all those types of, because there's, I mean, it's legal in
it certainly is. It certainly is legal. So yeah, I'm definitely open to the integrative approach. So I do chemo. My chemo is once every 2 weeks. So I'll go in on a Tuesday basically. I'll sit there for 4 hours. They'll infuse me with chemo, and then I get a little. It's basically like a little bottle of chemo that I put in a little pack around my waist, and I wear it for 48 hours at home. So I bring the chemo home, and I basically am like sitting on my couch watching TV, and it's attached into I have like something called a port, which is it's basically just like a catheter that they place into your artery, and so when you get your chemo, they just attach it in there.
Like over time.
Exactly right. So I got that, and I basically do my chemo that way. So yeah, man, that's what can I say about this? The chemo is like, I definitely have something called chemo fog or chemo brain, which is you kind of forget things sometimes. So one of the good things I use about chemo is I blame everything on the chemo fog. If I didn't take the garbage out, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot
the chemo.
The chemo, So I try and make light out of it as best I can. I'm a pretty positive guy. I think I've always been a pretty positive guy.
Yeah,
and,
man.
So I try not to get stuck and dwell in the sadness of it. You know what I mean?
But in terms of like the alternative medicines, are you trying anything, or you?
Yeah. I do high dose vitamin C. So I have a naturopath, and I work very, very closely with her. And so I do high dose vitamin C, which is really good, for energy and, obviously all the vitamins and stuff. I was doing something called Ozone Therapy. And what that is, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if you've heard about it before, but they basically hook you up to an IV, and they take they fill a bottle with your blood. So
it's like reoxygenating your blood.
It reoxygenates it, exactly. Okay. So it pulls all the blood out of your system, and they add the ozone, they add the oxygen into it, they shake it up, they clean it up, and then they pump it back into your system. So I did
that's
that.
Pretty high tech shit, man. Yeah, I know about
that. Man. I was like, you're gonna take my blood out
and then put it back in.
I'm like, am I gonna be like, is this an operation, or like, is this a surgery? Like, no, we just do it through the IV. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're gonna be Superman when you're done.
Yeah. So I've done that. I'm just about, I think next week, I'm gonna be starting something called mistletoe. So I have to basically do these injections into my abdomen. I don't know much about it right now because I haven't actually started the the actual treatment. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And it's supposed to be really good for like activating your immune system and going after the cancer cells. So yeah, we'll give that a try.
You haven't tried. I mean, the reason I'm asking about I was gonna ask about the cannabis because I've heard I've heard some really good.
For sure, man. So I do use CBD and THC oil. I'm open to that as well. It's very good for pain. It's very good for nausea. It's very good for like anxiety. All the stuff that it's known for. It does, man. So like there'll be days where I can't get anything into my system. I can't eat, and that's the worst thing that can happen to a cancer patient.
Yeah.
If you don't have any weight on you, you can't take the chemo, which means you can't fight the cancer. So it's like you've got to eat, but then it's like, okay, but you can't eat sugar because if you eat sugar, that's going to feed the cancer. Or if you can't eat too much carbs because that's going to turn into sugar and feed the cancer. And it's like all these crazy, like, don't eat this, but you can eat that, but don't eat that because, so it's been a bit of a crazy transition in terms of making these adjustments, but thankfully it seems to be going pretty well. Like I've made a full basically transition. I hardly eat meat anymore. I hardly eat chicken, hardly eat red meat, eggs. If I do eat them, it'll be like maybe once a week, maybe, just to get a little bit of protein that way. But I'm basically plant-based now. I get all my protein from beans and different. I do juicing. I juice all different kinds of vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, all that kind of thing. Man, I've seen some posts from you that you're into that, right? So
yeah, I mean, I stopped eating meat about 2 years ago.
Wow.
But I'm not like, it's more red meat. Like every now and again I'll have fish or I'll have some chicken, if I feel like it, but generally also plant-based. And I think a lot of people should, well, not should, but like you see when you do take the approach, you just have more energy. You just feel a bit lighter. Like when you eat, you don't feel bloated. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with eating meat or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, even if you just try and do it a couple of times a week, I promise you feel better. You really would.
Yeah,
I can understand why, but you like, say what, you got like a vegan diet going on kind of thing.
Pretty much, man. Like I say, when I was just diagnosed in December, obviously that 6 months after that diagnosis, I was like strict, man. I was like just eating like really, really, like non-processed foods, like just really anal about things.
Didn't you lose weight then in the first month? Because
I lost, man. You can see, like I used to walk around at about 220 pounds, and I'm currently
how much is that in kilograms?
I guess what's that, about 100 and something kilos.
No, because I know when I stopped eating meat, like after the first month, I literally went the same. My mother was like shocked. She couldn't. She was like, "Yo, you need to eat some food, bro." Like I lost about 12 kgs in like a month or something. You know what I mean? 10 kgs in a month or something like that.
Yeah, same here, man.
Then it balanced out eventually afterwards, and I started finding ways to eat, and
Yeah. What do you do for protein? So you basically do your beans and like chickpeas and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll drink some protein supplements sometimes as well.
Yeah.
But there's loads of things with protein in, man. Yeah, and like
honestly, before my diagnosis, and this is, I often think that this might be part of why I'm in this position is, growing up in Josie, you don't really care about what you're eating, man. You just go and you're gonna go get pani chows or you're gonna get a chip.
But do you think it is though? Do you think it's what you eat?
I think for me, like obviously everyone's different, right? But I think for me, mine was definitely part of my diet. I definitely not most of it, but like I would say like 50% of why I think I'm sitting here is because of my diet. Like, I mean, I was a party animal, dude. Like I
remember,
like I drank what I wanted. I ate what I wanted. I used to smoke for the longest time. Obviously when I was traveling on the ships, you sleep for like 2 hours, 3 hours a night. So I look back at all those things and I can't say for sure that it's that, but I certainly feel like that might
be part of it.
Has been part of it. So, no regrets or whatever, but I do think that's how I sit here. And some people are lucky they can smoke, drink, eat whatever they want for 80 years and they have no problem, right?
There are just certain people who are like that, man. Like my business partner, like I swear, he's Caribbean, right? But he's born in here. And he's got this like slimish body, also about 6 foot. All he does is he plays ball every week, like once a week. But this guy used to eat whatever he wants, do whatever he wants, and he just stays the same. Like it's like, and he's older than me. He's about 45 or something. But it's like, some people just have that, like,
Yeah.
For me, I've always kind of watched what I eat, and not always, but like especially from my mid-20s and stuff, I like, always looked after, well, try to, be healthy-ish and stuff like that.
It's
You
a,
know
it's a,
me.
it makes a big difference, man. And in the same breath, like like obviously with this diagnosis, I've started reading a lot more. So I read a lot of books and stuff now, and obviously can so watch like documentaries and stuff on it just to see like what's out there. And you then you have the flip side of the coin where you have the guy standing there saying, I've been running all my life. I've been a vegetarian all my life. I've never smoked, I've never drank, and I've got stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
What gives, So in my research and in my reading and stuff, obviously it just depends. Everybody has cancer in their body. It
Yeah.
just depends what your immune system is gonna do to either fight it and get past it and kill the disease before it becomes an issue, or if there's something going on with your immune system, it's not killing off those cancer cells, and now it's starting to kind of fester, and it just does it over time, and that's what happened in my situation. Is you don't see the signs, and it just starts developing, and then boom, before you know it, you got a freaking basketball in your belly, So for me, all I'm trying to do now is, anyone that I speak to, especially from our community, from the the colored community, this cancer disease is a game changer, man. It's happening more and more to younger people. As you probably saw, the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, one of my total heroes. He was just diagnosed exactly the same like me at 39 years old, and he battled it for 4 years, and that was that, So I don't know how much time I got. I really do not. It could be 3, it could be 4 years, it could be 20 years. The gauge is really all over the place, and once you start getting into the literature, you'll see that people will say, you know what, you can't give up hope just because you get a stage 4 cancer diagnosis, right? Like, there's people that have had stage 4 and they either on chemo for life. They've been doing chemo for 15 years, man. 15 years. It's
But
crazy.
this is what I wanted to actually ask you. So like you say, you don't know, you don't know if you got 3, 4 years, 15, 20 years, whatever. So in that same breath, like that is all of us are like that. You know what I mean? Like we all living life to, like, nobody knows how long we have anyway. So like, does that should be, and it bring me to my next question as well. Like that should be like, for me, the appreciation of every morning and every day that you wake up and give thanks, because it's so easy to like just live, and especially when you live like, somewhere cool, like, no, not cool, I shouldn't say cool, but I mean like Canada, where like you're not worrying about like being murdered or like robbed and stuff, and it's like easy. You just go, you have your coffee, you go to work, you can get like really caught up, you know what I mean? And so I'm just saying, like, none of us know when we are gonna go, but like the most important thing is like, because lots of people will say like, oh, what's the meaning of life? To me, it's like, that's it. It's life. You live, you hear. That's it. You have to live. You know what I mean? It's not the future. It's not the past. It's now. It's right. Like, no, it's now. You know what I mean? Which I got from this guy I follow, who's a guru. He's called Sadhguru. Should check him out as well. It's really awesome. Like, and I mean, those are the types of things that I learned like from him and whatever. I was gonna ask you, are you spiritual, or like, and has this affected you anyway in that sense, or do you?
The infamous question. I would say before my diagnosis, I don't know about you, but I think most of us in the colored community, we were either brought up Christian, very Christian, Protestant, or Muslim, right? Like we coexisted all together next to each other, and we all know it. But yeah, I was definitely brought up very, very spiritual, but I didn't necessarily follow in that path.
Did you go to that church with my cousin and them, Joanne and them?
I used to go to EBC.
EBC, yeah, I swear that my cousin and Joanne and Leanne and them all went to that church, I think.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in that church, and loved going there. Grew up in the church, going to Sunday school, all that kind of thing. So it's not foreign to me,
There was Awana from that church.
You got it, buddy.
Okay, now we used to go there sometimes. I think
we
I
used to
remember your
do a
sister.
song, our Wana song in the morning, and you know, like my mom and dad and my grandparents and stuff were all involved in the Awana. So you know, praying and you know, talking about God and you know, going to church, whatever. It's not uncomfortable. It's not like I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm not freaking out about it. I'm actually very comfortable talking about it. And I would say that this diagnosis has opened up. Like I never used to think about energies and how you know how the spirits in the air and stuff like you know and different things that's happening you know can affect your body. Like I never used to think about that kind of thing. Like even meditation, like I used to be like, meditation, what? I can't even sit for like 5 minutes. But now since my diagnosis, I meditate probably an hour a day, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon. And my meditation always starts with you know obviously namaste and um you know, I'll thank my God. So I'll do a bit of a prayer in there. You know, and everyone has their own way of doing things, but I do a lot of visualization. So like crazy, man, like just visualizing my body getting healthy, visualizing the cancer leaving my body,
Awesome.
visualizing my mind staying strong, you know, like just all these different little parts that all have to come together. I try and fit it into this meditation. And you know, sometimes I try not to get too carried away because the whole point of meditation is to, you know, is to just calm your mind.
Yeah, to find peace and to breathe. And
But
yeah.
it's also a good time to think. You know what I mean? And I find that the meditation helps me with just, you know, putting everything in its right compartment so that I can function. You know, with the family and stuff. Because, like I say, you know, I got two boys. You know, they got soccer practice. My youngest child, believe it or not, is special needs as well. You know, he's autistic and he's got another diagnosis called Rubinstein-Davy syndrome. So we've been battling.
How old is he?
Even though my battle started with cancer last year, we've literally, as a family, been battling crazy stuff in our family since my kids were small. My eldest son had, he's now 8 years old. He had something called osteomyelitis in his arm, and he nearly lost his arm and his life when he was 2 weeks old. So that was a crazy experience. And then my younger son, who's now just turned 6, he was diagnosed with Rubinstein-Davy syndrome. And I won't get into all the specifics, but it's basically he doesn't talk much. You know, he's got learning disabilities, all that kind of thing. So that was another long road and set of challenges that we've had to work through. And he just got an autism diagnosis earlier, you know, in the last few months. So that's been a crazy trip as well, you know, because that's like it's just appointment after appointment after appointment and trying to figure out how to deal with that, you know. So
Navigate all these things, yeah.
all of these, I guess, things in life and challenges that we get, like everyone has their own their challenges, man, you know, and it just depends on what form it's going to come in, whether it's going to be, you know, death of a family member, you know, losing your home, whatever. There's everyone has their, you know, their journey. So I really feel that, you know, some of the stuff that we've been through as a family has prepared me for this journey, you know. And as everyone is probably doing the same thing, they're just trying to find their purpose, what they need to do, what kind of impact they can make, how to raise their family the right way, the values, all that kind of thing. And I think with a cancer diagnosis, it definitely just makes me think about those things a lot sooner. So like, where I was before maybe thinking like, oh, I've got 10 years to get my son up to speed up on teaching him certain things, you know, like, oh, it's fine, there's no rush. Now my mind is more like, I almost put, like I work, my mind is pretty logical. So I'll be like, okay, so between now and 5 years, let's say I've got 5 years, what am I going to do in the next 5 years to make sure that I'm living life to the fullest, you know? And that's where I look at that Chadwick Boseman, where I just think like, just imagine that, dude. Like at 39 years old, he gets a cancer diagnosis, stage 3 colon cancer. Probably in the same month, he gets a contract to be Black Panther in the blockbuster, this biggest blockbuster movie that crushed it. In this, like, he literally done the same thing together. And I'm just like, when I look at that and I see like, okay, I got my diagnosis, instead of like just crawling into a hole and like waiting to die, you know, get out there and just try and live life to the fullest, man, and take every breath that you take in, every moment is life. That's it. That's the way I break it down. When I take a deep breath in, that's life. When I breathe out, that's life leaving me. And once that breath stops, that's it, right? So as long as that breath is coming in and out, then I think with my meditation, I really focus on that. So like it helps with pain in the body, all that kind of thing. So if you can separate the pain from what's actually going on, you know.
Yeah, because one of the mantras that we go through, like especially when we when we perform any type of kriya or like meditation, one of them is, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. You know, I mean, that's just one of them. There's a few of them. Obviously there's Om chanting and whatever and stuff like that, but obviously you have to find the ones that suit you. But yeah, bro, like your spirit and your strength, I can feel it, man. And I feel your positivity. And like, honestly, it's like, it's really uplifting, because there's so many people who, don't have your diagnosis and aren't living.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's millions of people in the world who literally, they're not living. They're not, you know what I mean? It's like, what's the point? You're just not adding any value to your family, your friends. You're just existing, basically. So, I mean,
Dude, it's like a slap in the face, man. I tell you, that's what it feels like. You just wake up all of a sudden to be like, oh my goodness. Like like you said earlier, everybody knows they're gonna die. We all know it, right? It's just a question of when that's gonna happen. So like, what are you gonna be doing? I don't wanna be like waiting now until I get to, whatever, 60 years old and trying to like, get some stuff done. I want to try and do it now, man, if I can, so, and that's one of the things that we do. And that's why I started getting into the kayaking and the paddleboarding and, starting to, go out and really just enjoy all the beautiful forests and stuff that we have around here. Go walk in the forest, and just appreciate, getting up in the morning and, having a wonderful meal, because sometimes I can't eat, sometimes I can't eat for 2 days. So when I eat, I'm enjoying that food, man. Or, when I'm just walking down the street and I don't have any pain in my belly or in my legs or in my hands, I'm super happy, man, because I'm like, this is like the best, because I'm not I'm not uncomfortable, So yeah, I've really just learned to cherish those moments that we have, like no matter how small they are, And
no, I completely, I get that completely. I mean, in a lot of the yoga philosophy or mystic teaching, they teach you about mindfulness, and that is basically it. And like when I told you when I had COVID, I lost my sense of taste and smell. I know it's probably not comparable, but like for 4 or 5 days, I couldn't, bro. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced. So when it did come back now, I'm like, I'm like, this is I need to appreciate, like really appreciate this, because without taste and smell, it's like, wow,
I do, man. I'm on a lot of like support groups for like cancer, obviously stage 4, all that kind of thing, and I read some stories, and like, man, it's rough, dude. It's rough. Like when you read some of the stories and the surgeries and the pain that people are in, for me, I'm constantly trying to. Have you heard of David Goggins? David Goggins is a motivational speaker, but he is hardcore to the bone. Please check him out if you can. I'll actually send you a link for some of the stuff he does. But he swears a lot, but he's one of those guys who basically rips you out of your seat and gets you into the gym, or don't be like, you can't change things, you can't control some things, you know what I mean? Like you just have to let it go, and you have to just get into it and stop complaining, stop making excuses, kind of thing. So for me, like I'm in a routine now where, so 1 week is chemo week, and then this week right now is my non-chemo week. So which means that on my non-chemo week, I'm throwing everything in the kitchen sink, dude, at my body. So I'm eating as much as I can. I'm exercising as much as I can. I'm doing yoga as much as I can. I'm supplementing as much as I can with whatever vitamins and stuff I need to take, because I know that next week's coming, it's gonna whack me hard, So I gotta basically, like, I'm in training for next week, and then I'll have another 3 or 4 days of like just eating like garbage, and then just do the same thing the following week. So
Have you heard of the Wim
yeah,
Hof method?
I've heard of Wim Hof. I've studied some of his breathing. One of the things that cancer hates apparently is oxygen. So that's one of the reasons why I check Wim Hof out. So I do some of his breathing exercises for sure.
Cold showers?
Yeah, just getting as much in there as possible.
The cold showers?
Cold, yeah. Can't quite get to that one yet. But yeah, when I was thinking about that, because when we go kayaking, we normally go early in the morning and the water's like cold. So I'll go in the water and I'll be like, okay, this is my cold shower that I'm doing here. But
yeah, because my friend
yeah,
in Vancouver, he's like I don't know if he's an ambassador for Wim Hof or whatever, but he basically teaches the method and he's like a trained, but like he sent me some videos of him in the winter there because it was snows and stuff, and he was in this ice pool that he had gone out, and he's just busy paddling there, and everywhere is full of ice, and he's just breathing, doing his Wim Hof thing there, just in this ice bath.
Crazy, man. It's good. Like I say, like for me, I've been open to learning a lot of new things. So there's lots of healers here as well. I don't know how much you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm music, bro. I'm in music, so I know
music. So I've got a lady who does divine light energy, and she's done some work on me. I've done Reiki. I've done a bunch of these things. I do acupuncture like 3 times a week, and that's been a game changer for me.
For the pain and that.
Yeah, it just helps me with managing like your liver, because you're under so much medication and supplements. Your liver takes a hit, man. So they help me like just restore my liver functionality.
Yeah, I did acupuncture a while ago. It's really good.
It's good, man. It's really good. It activates your immune system. It helps with nausea, like a bunch of stuff. It helps with your spirit, like your overall feeling. There's a point here in the top of your head, right here. And my acupuncturist is this like old like Chinese guy, so they just has so much knowledge, and he gives me one for spirit in the center of my head and one in my ear as well, like the little needles. And it's it doesn't hurt.
No, I've done it before. It doesn't really hurt. Like
it doesn't really hurt, right? But I feel like it makes a difference. And like I say, when I hear people tell me like, "Oh, you've been fighting cancer for a year already," I'm like, "Yep." And they say, "Well, you look pretty good." I've obviously lost a lot of weight, but overall, I feel like I look really good.
No, but the most important thing is I can see your spirit, bro, and your energy, and that's, you know what I mean. That is the key to everything. That is life. You know what I mean? Like you said, that life force. Once you let go of that, then you know what I'm saying, that's you basically, like you said, curling up on the couch and just fucking, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna say that life is all sunshine and rainbows all the time, because it ain't. But it's just, how are you gonna respond to it? How are you gonna deal with it? Are you gonna stay in that state of mind for 2 weeks, because that's not good? Or are you gonna get there, recognize it? If you anger, be angry, but then get over it. If you sad, be sad, but then get over it. Like you just gotta move on. And I think like some words that has always helped me is it's just like, it will pass. Like whether it's pain, it will pass. Whether it's financial stress, it will pass. Whatever. I use that a lot with when I, in my meditation and stuff. So, obviously there's a few different affirmations and things that, I say to myself, and, all that kind of thing. And yeah, man, it's just keeping your head up, getting your story out there. So thank you for giving me that opportunity to have a chat. And,
of course, bro.
People know what's up, because I'm pretty sure, I like some of our buddies and stuff from parties and through the years, like, I get messages from some people with like, I'm like, oh remember this dude, man. So obviously a lot of people, I put my story on Facebook and stuff, and so I've definitely had a lot of contact. So it'll be cool to put this out there and for people just to see where I'm at and how I'm doing and stuff. So much appreciated, man.
No, definitely, bro. It's been an honor actually having you on, man. And just also catching up and touching base after all these years as well.
Awesome.
And what I'll do is we'll have a catch up maybe like in a year or something and see how you're getting on.
Oh goodness, you're making me scared with that kind of thing, dude.
Why? Don't be scared, man.
It's one of those things where it's like I went to go renew my license the other day for my car, and it's weird, man, because like death is on the door. Death is knocking on my door. I know that. You know what I mean? I can't not face that. You know what I mean? And so I know it's knocking on my door. I know death is standing right there, just waiting to say, "Come to Papa," you know. But in my mind, I'm thinking, hell no, I ain't going with you anywhere. You know, I am getting to my 5-year point, and then we can talk, and I'll do another 5 year. And so for me, it's like constantly just breaking it down into manageable steps, you know.
But that's why I'm speaking positivity into the future, bro. You know what I'm saying? Speaking it into existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll definitely do this and reconnect, and hopefully I can share a very, very awesome story in a year and tell you, yo, man, I beat this thing, and I'm still fighting it, but I'm still here. Like I don't know what that's gonna look like, but I hope for the best. I got a family to fight for, and that's what I'm doing, man.
Yeah,
And
no, I'll have you. Yeah,
for sure.
no, I'll have you in my prayer and thought as well, man. Throughout, bro, I'll be fighting with you, man, on the spiritual side of things.
Thank you, man.
You have my support there, bro, and obviously we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely. Congrats to you on your podcast and all your music career and stuff. I don't know too much about it. I wish I should interview you one day for your own podcast, so that all our people know, because we don't know, man. We don't know. I just know you do like engineering, sound mixing, all that kind of thing, but it's probably a lot more to that than just that.
Well, I mean, the more you watch the podcast, the more you'll get.
I will.
Which is kind of part of the reason why I started it as well, because like I find people interesting and I find their stories interesting, and that helps me understand myself in my journey. You know what I mean? And I know, like, I'm quite such an I feel like an open person. I've got such weird friends from all walks of life and backgrounds and sexual preferences and whatever. Like I've really and I kind of wanted to bring that to this podcast, just speak to people from different places, different walks of life, and hopefully by speaking to them, just understand my journey a bit better.
It's very diverse. I love listening to podcasts. So as I'm sure most people are getting into that method of whatever, getting the information. Yeah, man, it's great, very diverse, lots of diverse people, that you've had on and stuff. So yeah, it's an honor and a privilege. Thank you, man.
No, thank you, bro. Thank you, and keep fighting, man. So yeah,
it's the plan, man.
So people, this has been the Other Side of the Sun podcast. That's my boy Ali over in Vancouver. Big ups and love, and peace.